think I'm sitting in the rarefied air now. This is good. I wanted to do a talk about a Rumi quote, which no doubt most of you have heard of, and it's called that your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you've built against it. The reason I'd like to talk about that is I don't really want to kind of do an expansive talk talking about the reality of this and that, and I'd rather just kind of get into the nitty-gritty of it. The reasoning for that is, got about 6-7 months ago, I got invited to Bosnia. And obviously being the smart guy that I am, I just kind of went, yeah, why not? Because I had all these preconceived ideas of what Bosnia was all going to be about. So I got there expecting to see a war zone. And instead, I got there and was taught a lot about life. And I met some incredible people. And I learned about simple things like honor and humility and family and things that we don't really kind of talk about. And I was met by a culture which was very similar to my own. And I found that even within my community, we're losing a lot of these old-fashioned values. And it really made me think. I went back for another trip, and there was a lady there who'd been seeking for years. So she'd gone to every speaker you can actually ever imagine. And we had this incident one night where she's sitting in the flat, and I found that I was just saying, look, just bring me your ideas about this stuff. So one of the things I'm going to invite today is, please don't have me sitting here talking for 45 minutes. I really don't want to. I'd rather that if you have any questions, please bring them out. Because I don't really come from Sufism as a concept, as an ideology, because I've just done an intensive and we talked about Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jilani, we talked about Rumi, we talked about all those things, but Sufism points to a living reality. And that living reality doesn't have a name. It's not Sufism. So I'm very loath to use the term Sufism because people then immediately assume that I'm going to get up here and I'm going to talk. I'm talking from a reality. It's something that I live. I make no excuses for it. Sometimes it's jagged, sometimes it's messy, sometimes it's crazy. Occasionally I throw my toys out the pram and say things I really shouldn't be saying at a talk like this, but that's me, because as I said just now, it's the idiot's wisdom here, it's the fool's wisdom, and it's okay to mess up and kind of create dramas and things like that. So yeah, going back to Bosnia, so I'm in this flat with this woman who's spent a mini fortune going to all these different talks and all these different retreats. And what was really, really interesting was we started talking and I kind of said, look, tell me your ideas of what you think this is all about. Because in the Eastern traditions, we really venerate the whole idea of a teacher. And what I found in the Balkans is they really venerated the idea of a teacher, that we're something special and we know something that you don't know. And that through a lot of hard work and meeting yourself and things like that, that you may get to know this reality that, we sitting on a stage in the rarefied air of enlightenment know about. What was really incredible was that her ideas of what she thought it was were basic at best, which made me think, what are people actually hearing when we speak? At the end of the night, I asked her if she could just kind of accept herself just a little bit. And I wrote an article about it called Incremental Acceptance. And what I found is just by accepting herself a little bit, she was able to kind of transform her experience of this thing called life. And, I started off as kind of quite an expansive teacher. I was talking about there's just this reality, it's just this. But that's all great. But that's, how's that going to help you? And something I say at my talks is, if you look at some of the biggest teachers in India and Pakistan right now, they're like social workers. People go to see a teacher and he goes, look, my daughter's not getting married. My son's business is failing. My cow's not giving enough milk. And that's where they get into the nitty-gritty of it and actually prescribe solutions. And what I want to do really is talk about these barriers that we have within ourselves, like this whole idea of conditioning, this whole idea of these ideas on spirituality of what we are, how we should behave a certain way. So, for example, last year's talk, I wore salwar kameez. So I played out every single stereotype of an Asian teacher. I turned up, I had a salwar kameez on, I even quoted a bit of, I think there was a couple of bits about Rumi and stuff. But this year I thought to myself, well, I'm going to turn up like this, because this is who I am. And I just want to kind of bring that out and just make no apologies for who I am. Because for many years, even I've hidden. So there was that barrier there as well. There was that veil of me trying to stop myself from meeting myself. So I want to talk about these things that we don't really talk about. The fact that we think that we need a guru, we need a teacher. I just want to kind of talk about things that really matter. Because a lot of us are here, we have these ideas of what this thing called spirituality is. And we're going to dedicate a lot of time and effort. And we're going to waste a lot of time. So this is why I'm inviting anybody who wants to talk to me. Let's talk about what really matters here. And the thing I've found about eliminating these barriers is, let's get these ideas out in the open that really matter, because I've been there. I've done that. I sat with the teachers you write about. You talk about Rumi. I was a member of that school. I whirled just like Rumi whirled. And the thing I found is that at the end of all of it, 99.999% of it was fluff. And it's a journey you're going to go through, but what Mindful Mann offers is an opportunity to end that seeking and to realize what you actually are. The beautiful thing about that is it's a question that's going to constantly answer itself. So that's what I'd like to talk about. I'd invite somebody to talk to me and tell me what their problems are and see what we can kind of conclude from this. Or I'll just waste the next half hour by telling you stories, whatever you want, because I'm really here just to help you today, because I've done my bit. And my job is just to sit on a stage now and talk to people. I'm a bit surprised. I don't know why you're all sitting here and everything. It just means life's getting a bit serious, which brings up its own challenges as well. And the thing is, that's the bit we don't see. We don't see the stuff behind the curtain. We don't see the fact that what's happened and the challenges that have happened just to even kind of get here. And we need to bring that out and expose that and say it's okay to mess up. It's okay to be sitting in the mehfils, and it's okay to sit in the divine presence of these teachers and kind of go, I haven't got a clue. I don't know what's happening. Because I sat with a teacher of the Qadri school for 8 years and I didn't have a clue. And I was too scared, because of all the mystique and everything, to actually say, I don't know what you're doing. I'm confused. I'm in pain. It's not good. What's happening? And I was recently asked a question by this young girl in Bosnia. She waited about half an hour. She goes, you're talking about all these amazing things and everybody's feeling all these great things in the room. Why hasn't anything happened to me yet? And I went, wow. It took me 8 years to ask that question. So use this opportunity. Talk to me. Because, it's unfortunate we live in a social media age. And, I would rather Instagram and Snapchat you people than actually talk to you. So let's go back to something which is a bit more old-fashioned, which is talking. Because really, this is how all of this was passed along. These are oral traditions. There is no point reading about this in a book. It's about, in a sense, experiencing that oral tradition. This is why if we look at some of the conflicts we've got happening in the world and stuff, it's because, guess what? We decided we want to put this down. We're going to form ideas about this. But allow it to be free-flowing. Allow it to be static. Allow it to have no name. Allow it to be a practical reality which is with you right here and right now. God, I just used exploratory cliche there. Do you want me right here, right now? Apologise. It's all going rapidly downhill. Sorry, you were going to say something.
Zahir, what would you say people should avoid if they are seeking enlightenment?
Enlightenment itself, you should avoid it completely like the plague. Don't do it, it'll ruin your life, if you're going to be really honest about it. And yet, simultaneously, it's the only journey worth taking. If I had to do the whole thing all over again, I'd do it in a heartbeat. But while I was dying, I remember I had some time with a man called Sheikh Suleiman. He was one of the 6 students of a man called Sheikh Abdul Faiz Dagestani, who was a very, very famous Naqshbandi Sufi teacher. And I remember crying to him over the phone. I remember going, I'm dying here, I'm suffering. He gave me a zikr to do. It was part of something that I had to do. And he goes, no, I think your capacity to endure is a lot more than this. And that's how it was, because it's a very cruel tutelage. One of the things with this enlightenment thing is, throw it out the window, what is enlightenment? It's a question I'm constantly asking myself. And the worst bit in the world is I'm now joined in a room with a load of people asking me that question as well. I don't know. Because to know would imply that there's someone here who knows something, who can actually give you something. I'm actually trying to say, make this the last talk you ever go to. Go to the talk that really matters, yourself. Go inwards. Because there's a lot of talk about going inwards. There's a lot of talk about, our answers lie within us. And these have become sound bites. But what do they actually mean? And what does it mean to experience that, to meet yourself? I am meeting myself right now. There is no coincidence I'm sitting in this room with these people. I recently watched the Netflix special with Brené Brown. I don't know if you guys have come across her. Yeah, exactly. And what was really interesting was I was watching this Netflix special and I noticed that Brené Brown's crowd was exactly like her. They were your soccer moms. They were like your polished kind of your Texas Yarl and all this kind of stuff. So, and I thought, that's really amazing, which means I'm sitting here with this huge mirror in front of me. I'm meeting myself. And what am I seeing when I'm meeting myself? So there's this continual knowing yourself, whatever that actually means. So yeah, I would sod the enlightenment thing, man. What's it going to do for you? You're going to write some books. You do some talks.
Not for you.
Bro, the bills are piling up, man. That's how to come to the Isle of Man. Otherwise, I won't be here. No, I love this stuff. So yeah, throw that away. Eliminate that whole barrier of you're going to become something. You already are the thing you're looking for, which is a bit of a cliche, but it's so true. And it's so simple. The thing you're seeking is yourself. And yourself is what's so incredible here. And it's just about reminding you that you are the thing you're looking for. I'm just a reminder. I'm not a teacher. I'll use the term teacher just to confer a certain respect and a certain this and that, but it's reminding you, you're it. But what could it possibly be?
Watch this space.
Yeah, watch your space. I've run out of things to say. Damn, this is going rapidly downhill. I might start playing soon. Yes. Is that you, Thomas?
Yeah.
Okay. It is everything, and it is absolutely nothing. It's kind of funny, I'm actually going to give you the same answer I gave in Leeds a couple of weeks ago. It's the only thing worth doing. Back in the day, like certainly in the Indian subcontinent, we venerated this stuff. So the first thing we did was we spent time sitting with teachers to learn about this stuff. In the West, we have this situation now where, and I said this last year, people are like, they've accumulated wealth, they've accumulated relationships, they've accumulated all that, then got to the end of it and thought, I'm not living the dream I thought I was. They were sold a false bill of goods, and then they end up in places like this. This is the only thing to concern yourself with, this knowledge of self, of who you actually are. That question then just will constantly answer itself. You'll be empowered to know what you need to know. So the question isn't here about what Zahir's saying, it's what am I saying? This is why Rumi stated, unfold your own legend. This is why his teacher, Shams Tabrizi, in the Mehfil, turned around to a man and said, why do you speak of the words, why do you speak of the condition of your heart with the words of others? So it's about empowering you to find your voice. The beautiful thing is you'll realize that you don't really need the guy on the stage anymore. But these are sound bites. Can we actually experience this? Because everybody knows right now the guru system is being attacked. We don't need gurus, we don't need teachers, we are our own gurus. You're totally right. Then why are you not waking up? Because we can even use that as a way of hiding. There's a lot of people in this room who are hiding at this moment in time. And you have your reasons. Examine those reasons as to why you're hiding. Examine the reasons as to why those situations are in your life the way they are. The fact that you're probably not taking responsibility. The fact that you're probably even using this talk as a spiritual bypass. I'll go and listen to this guy, he might tell me something. What am I going to tell you? I might say buy a retreat place. I might say, awareness of presence is this, but what does that even mean? What does it actually mean? Sorted. No worries. Do you know what I mean? That's how good I am, you get me. You get results here. We don't mess around with this stuff and everything. I'm going to go into my American preacher Bible phase and stuff. Yeah, because it's real. What's the issue here? What's the problem?
I'd say that if we've all got the ability to find ourselves,
Yes.
that will be to varying degrees. You've obviously done it very well. You've had the ability.
No, I've done it very badly.
Okay, but you've got there to some degree. Now, there'll be people in society who can't achieve that.
Do you think so?
Well, there must be.
I disagree.
But they need help.
Well, that's why I'm sitting here. The thing is, sit here. If you think I know something, ask me what I know, and then be free of me. Because the reality is you don't need me, but you've got to get to that understanding you don't need me. You've got to get to that understanding. And going back to that thing about, you've got that ability to do so. No, I was the worst student in my school. I didn't understand the Shajara. I still don't understand it to this day. I was just taught, the classic line that was thrown at me, which I've been quoting a lot of, was that, bro, are you actually leaving me? Get out of here, fam. Seriously. Love you as well. And I say, right, I can play now, man. We got the main key. Don't go out of the way. So, see, he's left as well. I'm getting results here today. Do you know what I mean? By the end of this, I might have cleared the entire room. Now, wouldn't that be something?